Our story starts wild as the ruthless CEO Liu Ruyan kicks her husband Qin Ge's door open, grabs his hair, and forces him to his knees. She screams at him for trying to run away with her kid, but the daughter instantly betrays him, crying out that she is staying with Mime. And honestly, this absolute mess of a situation started because Qin Ge's wife is a mega-rich billionaire CEO. He was basically a house husband, and he actually went viral online by posting vlogs of his daily life with a rich wife. Everything was great until a random guy showed up at his door telling him he was just a cheap substitute for her dead first love. Now get this, after 6 years of marriage, a brand new substitute actually shows up at his door carrying a bunch of green fruit. The guy smiles, showing off green plums and mangoes, claiming President Liu Ruyan told him to deliver them. He basically tells Qin Ge that the green fruit matches the metaphorical green hat on his head because he is just a replacement. Meanwhile, the wife paid for this new kid to get plastic surgery to look exactly like her dead first love. She even bought him a company and spent entire nights with him, so Qin Ge finally gets the picture and asks his daughter who she wants. Surprisingly, the daughter chose him, so he packed her up and ran away that very same day. So let's rewind a bit to 10 a.m. that morning when the doorbell rang. Qin Ge opened the door to find a familiar yet strange face staring back at him. It was Lin Shuo, one of the many struggling students his wife had been financially sponsoring. He was supposedly the most outstanding one, a top student from a prestigious media university. He stood there holding several massive fruit baskets with a bright, sunny smile plastered on his face. He said he came to visit Qin Ge, who led him inside the massive, completely empty villa. Their daughter Zhi Ning was still at kindergarten, and it was way too early for school to end. Lin Shuo started laying out the fruits on the coffee table. Green limes, green plums, and green mangoes. Green guavas, green dates, kiwis, and star fruit. Qin Ge could only stare at this sea of bright green. His temples throbbed with irritation as Lin Shuo announced that Liu Ruyan had personally ordered these to be delivered. The guy spoke with a smug, teasing look in his eyes, clearly trying to assert dominance over him. He claimed he just wanted to bring over some pretty fruit packed with vitamins, but then he suddenly paused. He slowly let his eyes drift up toward the top of Qin Ge's head, commenting on how healthy that bright green color looked. Bright, vibrant green, basically saying he got cheated on. Talk about zero respect. Qin Ge squeezed the remote in his hand until it creaked, absolute fury surging straight to his head. He demanded to know what that was supposed to mean, but Lin Shuo just turned around. He reacted like he had just heard the funniest joke in the world, chuckling that it was nothing. He added that he was sure Qin Ge could figure it out, leaning back comfortably on the couch. Acting like he owned the place, he sneered that people really need to have some self-awareness. He warned him not to get greedy, asking if Qin Ge honestly thought a commoner could permanently become royalty. He scoffed that Qin Ge was nothing but a cheap substitute, making Qin Ge's head instantly start spinning. It felt like a massive blow to the chest. A substitute? He thought to himself. Lin Shuo stood up, walked right over to him, and pointed directly at his own eyes. Then he pointed at Qin Ge, telling him to go look in a mirror. He sneered, asking if Qin Ge could see what they actually had in common. Before Qin Ge could even process it, Lin Shuo laughed mockingly, saying he was truly clueless. He asked if Qin Ge ever noticed that their eyes were 90% identical. He explained it is because they both look like someone else, the wife's dead childhood sweetheart. Her ultimate white moonlight had eyes that looked exactly like theirs. He sneered that this was Qin Ge's only value, leaving our main character completely frozen. Qin Ge could only stare in utter disbelief, and honestly, seeing this innocent guy get crushed by this absolute trash of a villain is low-key heartbreaking. To crush him further, the guy dropped an absolute bomb, asking if Qin Ge remembered seeing him before. He smugly stroked his own face, asking if he looked a bit different now. He laughed, admitting that Liu Ruyan herself paid for him to get plastic surgery to look like this. Lin Shuo brags that because of her childhood friend's look, they do not just share the same eyes anymore. He boasts that their whole faces are 90% identical now, so our boy needs to pack up and leave. Telling him to stop hogging the spot, and honestly, this insult has our MC shaking with absolute rage. He tries to fire back, but can't even get a word out, accidentally biting a painful mouth ulcer in his agitation. The sharp sting instantly snaps him back to reality because the sheer absurdity of the situation is just unreal. How could Liu Ruyan do this? Why on earth should he believe a single word from this guy? Our boy practically screams it out, but the rival just chuckles and tells him he must be joking. He slowly pulls out his phone, asking if our boy noticed that Boss Liu didn't come home last night. Do you want to know why? He asks while scrolling through his screen to find something. It is because she spent the entire night with him, even opening up a brand new media company just for him. They were together there all night, and now he shoves the phone screen right in our MC's face. It is a selfie of Lin Shuo flashing a smug peace sign right at the camera. He is smiling like he just won the lottery, and right on the sofa behind him sits a figure our MC knows all too well, and even though it is blurry, that is definitely Liu Ruyan. Plus, the massive media company logo is clearly visible on the wall behind them. He tells our boy to go ask her himself, calling them both players in the exact same game. Except now he is taking over the spot, and our MC is just getting thrown out like yesterday's trash. After all, he is the more perfect substitute anyway, he says, putting his phone back in his pocket. Patting our boy's shoulder, he gets ready to leave and mockingly tells him to hang in there. He drops a cliché about plenty of fish in the sea, adding that the fruit Boss Leo sent is just a polite warning to pack up and leave before he gets completely humiliated. Just then, his phone buzzes with a WeChat notification, and of course, it is from Lin Shuo. The guy actually had the nerve to send over the exact same selfie with Liu Ruyan. He sent it again, adding a sarcastic text telling our boy to keep his head up, saying he will take off first, leaving our MC staring blankly at the photo. Lin Shuo's smug grin and peace sign feel like actual needles stabbing straight into our boy's eyes. With the rival gone, our boy is left all alone in the massive villa, slumping onto the sofa. His mind is a total chaotic mess. How could he just be a cheap substitute this entire time? His thoughts ripple back in time like a pebble dropped into a quiet, still lake. It takes him back to years ago when his family was not exactly rich. But they were doing fine, with both of his parents working as middle school teachers. Being super traditional and strict, their only real expectation was for him to study hard. They wanted him to pass the exams, become a teacher, and live a safe, quiet life. But once he got into Jiangda University and started dating a girl during his very first year, his parents immediately cut off his allowance, claiming he should only focus on his studies in college. With zero money to his name, his girlfriend quickly left him, forcing him to find a way to survive. To make ends meet and protect his pride, he took a part-time job bartending near the campus. And that is exactly where he first crossed paths with Liu Ruyan, who was clearly having a terrible night. She was sitting all by herself at the counter, just knocking back drink after drink. Seeing that she was getting completely wasted, our boy stepped in and tried to gently cut her off. But instead, she used the liquid courage to suddenly reach out and grab him by the wrist. Looking up with sparkling, drunken eyes, she asked if he was a college student. Completely tipsy, she slurred her words, asking him where he goes to school. She asked if he wanted to hang out with her, offering to sponsor him. As she spoke, she playfully traced a slow circle right in the middle of his palm. Back then, Qin Fan was just an innocent college student who had never seen a scene like this. He blushed all the way down to his neck, but luckily her best friend Meng Junmeng arrived in time. After dragging her home, Qin Fan got a call from her the next day. Her voice on the phone was incredibly soft and sweet, and she kept apologizing to him over and over. She insisted on taking him to dinner. He wanted to refuse. But she was so persistent, behaving like a totally different person compared to how wild she was last night. Still nervous, he went anyway, and by the end of that single dinner, they made an insane discovery. Turns out they went to the same university. He was a sophomore. She was a gorgeous graduating senior who never had to stress about her future like normal kids did. Her dad's massive company was literally waiting for her to take over, so university was just a playground. Work was optional. Qin Fan realized the massive gap between them. Some people are just born on the finish line, and after that day, she constantly visited his campus. She would eat with him in the cafeteria and walk hand in hand through the university grounds. They naturally fell in love. Soon, she graduated. She stood on stage as the star student giving the graduation speech, looking absolutely stunning and successful. At the after party, she held his hand tightly and introduced him to every single classmate and friend. She proudly introduced him as her ultra-handsome, super-sweet boyfriend. The way she praised him left our boy so flustered he did not even know where to look. Eventually, Qin Fan graduated too, and with one wave of her hand, she secured his entire future. She brought him into her company to work together, and he even introduced her to his old-fashioned parents. She also took him to meet her family, whose parents were incredibly open-minded and welcoming. They said that as long as their daughter was happy, they approved, making everything feel impossibly smooth. They officially tied the knot, and just 1 year into their marriage, they welcomed their baby daughter. Life was pure bliss. He remembered their sweet trip to Nanchang. At the Koishan Pavilion inside Confucius Temple, she absolutely insisted on pulling him to pray for love. Afterward, she seriously asked if they would be together forever. She wondered if they would have kids, and he just laughed, pinching her nose, promising they would. They would always have each other, though he joked that kids might be too expensive to raise. He teased her about supporting him. She immediately patted her chest. She declared she had more than enough money and that he only needed to look handsome for her. Qin Fan laughed, joking that he would basically be living off of her like a sugar baby. If she ever got mean, he said he'd run away with their kid. Honestly, this plot twist is low-key heartbreaking. The sweet memories only made the reality hurt more. Qin Fan snapped out of his trance, feeling like freezing water was poured over him. Every single memory? A total lie. It was a cold, calculated trap, all because his eyes looked exactly like someone else's. A dead childhood friend. Qin Fan grabbed his phone with trembling hands. His heart sank. Lin Shuo was gone, leaving the massive villa in a suffocating, terrifying silence. He collapsed on the couch, zooming in on the picture over and over again. There was Lin Shuo smiling brightly while Liu Ruyan sat behind him like a ghost from his past. Blinded by the truth. Numbly, Qin Fan opened up his short video account in a daze. His massive account had over 10 million followers, and it was entirely dedicated to documenting their happy love daily. She was leaning on his shoulder, smiling. A complete fraud. The post shows Qin Fan cooking bird's nest soup in the kitchen, captioned, "My wife has been working so hard." Hubby's cooking up a treat. Below, tens of thousands of comments joke about third brother showing off their romance again. Some ask when they can find a perfect husband like third brother. Others are just jealous, wishing they could be a house husband forever. Qin Fan looks at his own smiling face on the screen, feeling nothing but pure disgust. A perfect husband, a sweet, happy marriage, all a complete joke. He is just a carefully groomed clown and a pathetic substitute. This is low-key heartbreaking. But wait, Qin Fan knows he can't just trust a spiritual beast's one-sided word. He needs cold, hard proof, something that will finally force him to let go. Calling his wife Liu Ruyan directly is out of the question. He is too terrified of the truth. He is even more afraid she will just lie to him. His finger hesitates over his contacts. Finally, he stops on a name, Ning Junmeng, who is his wife's absolute best friend. They have been absolutely inseparable since they were toddlers, sharing every single secret. If anyone on this earth actually knows Liu Ruyan, it is her. He dials the call, and after some rings, she answers. "Chen Fan, what a rare surprise," she says. "What made you call me today?" Ning Junmeng's cheerful, casual voice echoes through the phone. Qin Fan forces his voice to sound as completely normal as possible. "Nothing much," he says. "Just wondering if you've eaten and what you're up to." "Just finished eating," she says. "Nothing much, just chillin'." "But why haven't you posted your daily couple video yet? Everyone online is waiting for it." She's just joking around, but Qin Fan can only muster a dry, hollow laugh. His heart hammers as he takes a deep breath. After beating around the bush, he finally steers the conversation to what actually matters. "Junmeng, I need to ask you something. Please tell me the truth." "Why so serious?" she asks. Qin Fan hesitates, then asks if Liu Ruyan had a childhood sweetheart. The one who ended up dying. Asking this makes his hands instantly go cold. His palms are completely soaked in cold sweat. On the other end, there is a sudden, heavy silence. Then Ning Junmeng bursts into a completely unrestrained laugh, wondering why on earth he is suddenly asking about this. Laughing hysterically, she confirms that yes, there was someone like that. She figured he already knew about it all along. Hearing that, Qin Fan's heart completely plummets. Ning Junmeng keeps talking, her voice light and casual as she reminisces. She mentions that back when Liu Ruyan was still a senior in college, right before a wild night out, she actually confessed her love to her childhood friend. Hearing this, Qin Fan's brain completely explodes. Talk about emotional damage. She confessed before they ever met. These words hit his chest like a massive sledgehammer, destroying his last shred of hope. On the other end, she calls out, "Hello? Qin Fan? Are you still listening?" she asks. "Yeah," he rasps back. "Thanks for telling me," he says, adding that they have always been close friends. Without waiting for her to say another single word, he hurriedly cuts the call off. Right before the line goes dead, he catches her mumbling to herself. "How weird," she muttered. Yeah, it is absolutely weird. How is the actual husband the very last person to find out about this? It is honestly so pathetic, but he still cannot accept this. He is not giving up yet. Shaking, he reaches for his phone again. He dials the one number he knows by heart, and Liu Ruyan actually answers. Her cold, tired voice comes through the phone, asking what is wrong, and Ping Fan quietly calls her name. He asks what she's doing, trying his absolute best to make his voice sound completely normal. She coldly replies she is busy with a meeting, so he mentions that someone delivered some fruit today. Trying to test the waters, Ping Fan hesitantly asks if she was the one who ordered it. She fires back immediately, confirming that the delivery was indeed done exactly on her orders. She tells him that even if he does not like it, he still has to eat it. After all, they are rich in vitamin C and supposed to help with his mouth ulcers. Those words pierce Ping Fan's heart like needles. She actually remembers his mouth ulcers after all this time. But this sudden affection just feels completely toxic now. Is she actually doing this because she cares for him? Or is she just caring for a face that looks like someone else? He summons all his courage and drops the ultimate fatal question. "Ruyan, did you actually love that childhood friend of yours from the past? The one who is already dead?" A heavy, chilling silence immediately takes over the other end. Every single second feels like an eternity. Just when he thinks she is going to ignore him, she finally speaks up, coldly claiming she never loved him and actually wished he had died a long time ago. She tells him Ping Fan is the only one she loves, but hearing her absolute cold denial, and that brutal line about wishing her friend was dead makes him feel completely frozen. Nah, that is crazy fake. It is not an explanation, it is just pure guilt and denial. Seriously, her own best friend already spilled the tea, yet she is still lying straight to his face. At this point, he cannot listen to another word. He just can't take in any of it. He hurriedly mutters that he understands what she's saying, and immediately cuts the call right then and there. Staring at Liu Ruyan's name on his phone screen, his entire world suddenly starts spinning out of control. He skips lunch entirely as his mind becomes a chaotic mess of thoughts. His head is completely filled with Lin Shuo's punchable face and those awful words. But he has to snap out of it because it is time to pick up Ning Ning from kindergarten. As he drives, there is only one clear thought in his head. He can walk away from everything. But after 6 long years, Ning Ning is the child he raised with his own hands. The boy is his absolute line in the sand. Once he picks up Ning Ning, the little guy jumps in like a happy little bird, chirping away about all the fun stories from his school. Gently patting his son's head, Ping Fan feels his heart completely melting into mush. Waiting at a red light, he tries to act completely casual and asks the boy a quick question. He asks Ning Ning who he would choose if he had to pick between his dad and mom. Ning Ning stops playing with his little fingers and looks up. He looks up with those big eyes that look exactly like his father's, showing zero hesitation. He says he would definitely choose his dad because his dad is the best father in the world. Honestly, this part is low-key heartbreaking. Ping Fan's chest tightens up with a rush of bittersweet emotion. Holding back his tears, he presses on, asking what if they choose a simpler life? What if they cannot live in a big house like this or attend such a high-end school anymore? What if the food is not as good? Would he still want to stay with them? Ning Ning's little eyebrows furrow, looking incredibly serious as he thinks it over. Then he leans in and plants a big kiss right on his father's cheek. The boy says as long as they are together, he is willing to do anything. Even bad food will taste amazing if he gets to eat it with his dad. That is more than enough. Once they get home, he heads straight for the kitchen. For once, he whips up a massive feast, making all of Ning Ning's favorite sweet and sour pork. They had Coke chicken wings and French fries after dinner. He grabbed her favorite ice cream. Her mom never let her have much of it. Go on, Dad says it is okay. Eat up, kiddo. Seeing her happy face made it all worth it. Any hesitation? Gone. Just like Lin Shuo said, things played out exactly like that for 3 straight days. Liu Ruyan did not come home. No calls, no texts. Meanwhile, Lin Shuo was basically punching a clock, sending daily updates of his toxic little progress. Pictures of her and Lin Shuo together late at night. No PDA, but this hurts. It is worse than any insult. In the photos, she is just working hard. Talking to staff, but Lin Shuo always finds the perfect angle. Smug victory smile. He even added a caption praising her dedication to their joint business, saying, "Do not worry, Qin Fan, I will take great care of her." Looking at his phone, Qin Fan felt like a complete joke. Honestly, this whole betrayal plot is actually crazy. By the 4th night, he was supposed to be fast asleep. Instead, he tossed and turned. Enough. He opened Liu Ruyan's chat and sent that first selfie Lin Shuo had sent. The one with the smug peace sign. With Liu Ruyan resting on the couch behind him, he texted, "Are you with him at the new office?" She replied instantly, "Yes, it is just normal work. Just getting the new office set up and ready. Relax, it is nothing." Qin Fan sneered, calling her generous. Gifting him a company? The chat went completely dead silent. She finally replied, "How do you know?" Seeing those words, the last spark of hope in his heart died. She was panicking. She was not asking why he knew about Lin Shuo. No, she only wanted to know how he found out about her gifting that company. Like, are you serious right now? To her, spending nights with another man was nothing to hide. But a whole business? That was the secret. He laughed bitterly, sending a simple final text. It is nothing. Just found out by accident. Turning off his phone, he stared at the ceiling all night. If they wanted him to step aside, fine. He would just leave. No more acting like they are still a happy family. Qin Fan was completely done. He stared at the ceiling lamp all night until the very first morning light crept slowly through the curtains. The warmth hit his face and he finally sat up. Enough was enough. No more substitutes, no more stepping aside. He was out of the game. He quietly tiptoed into Ning Ning's room. The little girl was sleeping soundly, with her cute little lips slightly pouting as she dreamed. Looking like a soft little bun, Qin Fan leaned down. Whispering in her ear, "Wake up, Ning Ning, Dad is taking you somewhere great." Ning Ning rubbed her eyes. She mumbled that the sun was not even up yet. He uses his most tempting voice, asking the kid if he wants to go to a place. No kindergarten, just riding horses all day. Plus, eating all the ice cream he wants. Ning Ning's little brain instantly wakes up and he sits straight up. Wide-eyed, he asks if it is true that he really does not have to go to school. Of course it is true, the dad says with a playful wink. School is useless. Come be an influencer with me. We are going to Nanjing for a month-long vacation to have the time of our lives. Yes, Ning Ning, cheers! He is more excited than getting a massive New Year red envelope. Mission accomplished. They quickly pack up, stuffing all their clothes into suitcases. 2 huge bags full of clothes and toys. He grabs his live streaming gear and walks out. He pulls out a sticky note and a pen. He writes 4 bold words. We left, do not search. Tossing the note on the coffee table. Talk about a savage exit. That is a total boss move. He snaps his old SIM card right in half. Goodbye to Liu Ruyan and this golden cage. On the way to the airport, the kid is completely hyped. He asks if there are elephants in Nanjing. And peacocks too, wanting to bring them all home. The dad laughs, saying that is impossible. They have their own home, just like us. It is time to find their own place, boarding first class to Nanjing. This is the last time he spends her money. As the plane takes off, the city shrinks below. No regrets, only pure freedom. 2 hours later, they land. They touch down, greeted by the crisp scent of fresh grass.
The wet, earthy air fills his lungs. He takes a deep breath, heading to their stay.
It is a peaceful countryside guest house. The hosts are a super sweet middle-aged couple. They welcome them warmly, helping carry the bags. They offer fresh fruit, and Ning Ning completely lets loose, chasing a dog around the yard, giggling. Honestly, seeing the kids so happy is the ultimate payoff. Any lingering sadness completely fades away. Standing in the courtyard together, looking at the clear blue sky and white clouds. Looking at the mountains, the past feels like a dream. A ridiculous nightmare. Then Ning Ning tugs his hand. Looking up, the boy says he loves it here. The dad hugs him tightly, welcoming him to their new home. Qin Fan's new life in Nanchang is honestly so peaceful, it feels like a dream he never wants to wake up from. He and Ning Ning are completely living their best lives, riding horses on the grasslands during the day. The little girl sits right in front of him, giggling as the horse gently trots along. Her sweet laughter rings across the open plains as they feed the gentle sheep. Ning Ning holds a handful of fresh grass, carefully feeding it to a little lamb. She is nervous but excited, a complete contrast to her life back in that gilded cage. All the stress and misery they bottled up are swept away by the clear blue skies. And the fresh air washes everything clean. He honestly thought this peace would last forever. But little did he know, while they're out here enjoying their newfound freedom, a massive storm is already brewing thousands of miles away in Jiang province, right at the center of it all. Honestly, she has no idea her perfect little world is about to shatter. The drama starts 2 days later. Ning Ning's preschool teacher, Teacher Li, notices she has been absent for 2 straight days. For a kid like Liu Ruyan who never misses class, this is highly unusual. She tries calling Qin Fan first, but only gets a cold, automated response. The number you dialed is no longer in service. Teacher Li freezes, completely confused. Thinking she dialed wrong, she double-checks the contact info. But the result is exactly the same, leaving her with no other choice. She has to call the emergency contact listed on the form. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan is in the middle of a high-stakes corporate board meeting. She glances down at her phone and sees Teacher Lai calling. Instantly, her brow furrows in irritation. She silences the call, but a second later, the phone rings again. Feeling extremely annoyed, she excuses herself from the room. She steps outside and asks Teacher Li what is going on. Her tone is pretty cold, but the teacher politely apologizes for the interruption. She explains that Ning Ning missed school and Qin Fan's phone is completely unreachable. It says his number is out of service, so she wanted to check in, asking if the child is sick, which makes Liu Ruyan frown even deeper. Out of service? She hangs up and immediately searches her contacts for Qin Fan. She dials, and there it is again. Hearing that cold, automated message instantly turns her annoyance into absolute panic. Sensing something is terribly wrong, she quickly opens WeChat to send him a text. And then, boom, she gets hit with the dreaded red exclamation mark. Talk about satisfying! Her face goes completely pale, and she instantly forgets about the meeting. She grabs her keys and bolts, her high heels clicking frantically on the marble floor. The echoing sounds of her panic follow her as she rushes to her car. Driving like a maniac, that sinking feeling in her chest grows heavier by the second. The villa door is unlocked, and she pushes it open. She is greeted by dead silence as she calls out for Qin Fan and Ning Ning. Only her own voice echoes back through the empty house as she races upstairs. She bursts into Ning Ning's room, only to find it perfectly neat. But her favorite toys are gone. Her heart drops as she stumbles into their master bedroom. Inside the walk-in closet, Qin Fan's entire side is totally empty. His everyday clothes are gone. He did not just pack a suitcase, he wiped the place clean. In fact, a whole lot of stuff is missing. Even the 2 big suitcases they kept in the storage room are completely gone. The brutal reality of an empty house hits Liu Ruyan like a truck. She staggers back, leaning against the doorframe as her mind goes completely blank. Heartbroken, she walks downstairs, her empty gaze scanning the vacant living room. Finally, her eyes lock onto the little note Qin Fan left on the coffee table. It's sitting right under that pile of cheap, sour fruit she sent over. She slowly walks over to it. With a shaking hand, she picks up the note with his messy handwriting.
There are only 4 heartless words. I've moved, don't look. In that single second, all her worry,
confusion and insecurity explode inside Liu Ruyan's chest. It instantly turns into pure rage, her knuckles turning white from her grip. The paper with those cruel words is completely crushed in her hand. A furious scream of Qin Fan's name bursts out, though her voice carries a hidden panic. She rants that his online career made him crazy enough to run with her kid. Shaking with fury, her beautiful face is twisted into an ugly, angry mess. You better hide well, she growls through grit teeth. Every single word is spat out. If I catch you, you're coming back. She vows to lock him up, but meanwhile, our MC's new life in Nanchang is peaceful. It's so cozy, it feels like a dream, and since he's a creator at heart, he can't just let his page with millions of followers go to waste. Plus, he wants to capture his new life with Ning Ning, so he grabs his gear. The camera captures the crystal blue sky and the endless green grasslands. He takes Ning Ning horseback riding, letting the kid sit right in front of him. The little boy bounces along with the horse's steps, excitedly waving his tiny hands. His bright laughter echoes as they film their cozy campfire in the yard. They get everything ready for an outdoor barbecue, though he's pretty clumsy. The smoke gets in his eyes, making Ning Ning laugh so hard he can barely stand. Honestly, guys, this wholesome vibe is something his old videos never had. Back then, he was just a rich woman's house husband, slave to Liu Ruyan's kitchen. But now he's finally Ning Ning's dad, living a free and happy life. He edits the sweet clips, setting them to a cheerful indie folk song. It opens with Ning Ning's innocent smile and ends with them sitting on the grass, watching the distant sunset as the video comes to an end. By nightfall, thin trails of smoke rise from the grill in the yard. The meat skewers sizzle over the charcoal, sending up tiny sparks of fire. He pops open a cold beer and pours a glass of milk for Ning Ning. Taking a refreshing sip of his drink, he looks over at the kid. Since tomorrow is his birthday, he playfully asks him for a present. Ning Ning is currently busy devouring a grilled chicken wing, getting grease everywhere. Hearing this, the little guy tilts his head, thinking super hard. He says he has no money, so Qin Fan continues to tease him. Playing along makes the little boy's eyes dart around in thought. Suddenly, the kid leans in and plants a massive kiss on his cheek. So the kid gives him a greasy, barbecue-scented kiss on the cheek as a birthday present. The grease spreads instantly, and San jokingly wipes it off like he is totally grossed out. He scowls. Too greasy. I do not want this. But honestly, he is secretly thrilled, because this beats any expensive gift his toxic ex Ruyan ever bought. This actually feels warm. Meanwhile, Ning Ning sees his dad fake frowning and pouts, "If you do not like it, you get nothing else." San just laughs out loud. He pulls the kid in close and plants a huge kiss right on his forehead. After finishing their barbecue, San kicks back on a lounge chair and pulls out his phone. He checks out the video he just finished editing and nods with pure satisfaction. He titles it "Farewell to the Past, starting a brand new life with his kid." Without thinking twice, he uploads it. Since he's an influencer with 10 million followers, the moment it goes live, the magic starts. Instantly, the views start absolutely skyrocketing, but he does not even bother tracking it. He casually tosses his phone aside and starts catching fireflies with Ning Ning. He has no idea that while they are cheering over a few glowing bugs, things are shifting. That simple life update. It is already blowing up the internet. The comment section is absolutely losing its mind. Fans are asking if San got divorced because that title has massive implications. Is he finally leaving his rich wife? Honestly, our guy is finally standing tall like a real man. Others are just asking where this gorgeous place is because the scenery looks unreal. Everyone is begging for the location. But of course, there is a very specific stalker watching from thousands of miles away. Ruyan spots the video instantly since she was already secretly following his account. She clicks it instantly, seeing the kid's face on screen completely lit up with pure joy, and then seeing San looking so incredibly relieved, her grip on the phone tightens until her knuckles turn white. She keeps pausing and zooming in, basically acting like an obsessed detective. She analyzes every single frame of the footage until she spots something. Her eyes freeze on one specific shot of San and Ning Ning right outside their cabin. The background of the frame reveals some rare local bamboo and a very distinct solid wood fence. She instantly fires up her laptop and types in some local search terms. Searching for Nanchang cabins with bamboo and wood, hundreds of images pop up. After scrolling through a few pages, her eyes suddenly widen in shock. Right there. The exact same unique bamboo and wooden fence from the video. She clicks the photo, and there it is, the exact name and address. Gotcha! A smug smile creeps onto her face as San and Ning Ning call it a night. After a peaceful night in Nanchang, the warm morning sun filters through the curtains. The light hits San's face, feeling incredibly cozy and warm. He rolls over, half asleep, and feels a warm little body wiggling next to him. It is Ning Ning. The kid's tiny arm is draped over his chest, face flushed red with sleep. He's even smacking his lips, probably dreaming of some delicious snacks. San smiles, his heart completely melting. Today is his birthday. No fancy gifts, just pure peace. No fancy party, but having his daughter by his side is everything. This brief moment of peace is enough, right as he tries to sleep in a bit. A sudden, violent pounding explodes at the door. Bang, 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 heavy and deafening. It sounds like fists hitting wood. The frame shakes. Snuggled in his arms, little Ning Ning is instantly startled awake and snaps her eyes open. Her tiny body shrinks into his chest, whimpering that someone is pounding on the door. They are hitting it so hard, she asks if it is a bad guy. Her tiny hands grip his pajamas tightly as her entire body begins to shake. That sudden racket completely startles him, instantly chasing away his sleepiness. Pure anger flares up inside him, while gently patting his daughter to calm her down. He glares toward the door, yelling in annoyance. Who is that? Why are you pounding like crazy? Can't you be gentle? Not even a peaceful sleep on his birthday. But right as those words leave his mouth, boom, a massive crash echoes. Ain't no way. That heavy wooden door is violently kicked open, crashing flat down. Splinters fly everywhere as blinding sunlight suddenly floods into the room. A familiar figure stands framed in the light, completely radiating a terrifying fury. She stands at the doorway like a straight-up boss of wrath. He barely sits up. His brain is completely lagging, and he can't even see her face clearly yet. But that figure is already moving, storming over to the bedside in flash speed. Suddenly, a sharp pain shoots through his head as a brutal grip grabs his ear. She just folds him right there, violently yanking him right off the bed. He is seeing stars falling pathetically onto the carpet right beside the bed. A freezing chill spreads through his entire body, and he finally sees her face. It's his wife, Liu Ruyan, and her gorgeous face is completely pale right now. Completely frozen over, and those eyes he once loved so deeply are burning with a fierce rage, looking ready to tear him apart. She looks down on him, squeezing out every single word through her teeth. Ordering him to get on his knees, he stares at her insane fury. Her dead serious expression. His brain is still trying to process it. But his body reacts instantly. His knees buckle right away. And he immediately kneels straight up, blurting out, "Honey, I am sorry." Do not scare her, please. Calm down? His voice trembles with a fear he doesn't even notice. Scaring her? Liu Ruyan sneers. Her laugh is colder than winter ice. You literally ran away with our kid. And now you worry about scaring her? If I didn't chase you, she'd be gone. Her voice suddenly spikes. I carried this child for 10 long months, only for you to kidnap her, you bastard! It is pure, trembling rage. I carried this child for 10 long months, only for you to kidnap her, you bastard! He tries to defend himself weakly after being chewed out like that. Still trying to explain himself, his voice dry and completely powerless. Ning Ning said she wanted to come with me. She didn't want to stay with her mom. Before he can even finish, the little girl who was just hiding behind him? Suddenly, the trembling little traitor under the blanket starts moving. Ning Ning pokes her little head out, looking at her dad with timid eyes. Then she looks at the absolutely terrifying Liu Ruyan standing at the doorway. And then, boom, her panic turns to pure joy as she sits up and yells for her mom. She scrambles to the edge of the bed, reaching out for a hug. She screams that she wants to go with her, telling her not to listen to her lying dad. Her voice is crystal clear and incredibly loud. Talk about an instant betrayal. Our main character is left completely dumbfounded. He just stares in absolute shock at his own daughter. The same kid who literally just promised she would do anything to stay with him. Now she is clinging to Liu Ruyan's leg, looking up with the sweetest smile. Looking fiercely loyal, while her poor dad can't even close his mouth.
He cannot utter a single word. His heart just got absolutely wrecked by his own kid.
Honestly, it is a hilarious plot twist, leaving him both furious and laughing. At this point, Liu Ruyan's icy face melts into the smug look of a winner. She bends down to scoop Ning Ning up and kisses her little cheek. And she coos that her baby Ning Ning is the only good one in the room. Then she glares down at the husband, her look filled with absolute contempt. Scoffing that some people are just ungrateful, leaving our guy's face burning in shame. She finally lets go of his hair, but her voice is still cold as ice. She orders him to stand up, which feels like a major relief. Like a totally defeated dog, he quickly scrambles up from the floor. At this point, he thinks she is dragging him back for a massive family trial. While rubbing his numb knees, he panics about the interrogation waiting for him. He quickly stammers that he will pack up and leave with her right away, promising it won't take long since he brought so many clothes with him. After all, he can't just leave his things behind while she carries Ning Ning. But she stares at him like he just said the dumbest thing ever. She shoots him an icy glare and asks what the hell he is packing for, asking him coldly if he is literally begging for another beatdown. Asking him where they will sleep tonight if he packs up, leaving him stunned. His packing completely freezes in place. Like, wait, what does she mean? He carefully asks her if they are actually not going back home. Liu Ruyan rolls her eyes, giving him that classic familiar look. With 70% impatience and 30% annoyance, she asks if he forgot his birthday. She asks if he wants to spend it traveling, making his mind go blank. Oh right, it actually is his birthday. All this drama made him totally forget. Now, a wave of unspeakable emotion starts surging deep inside him. He is shocked, happy, but mostly he is just completely overwhelmed. Subconsciously, he stands up straight, like a soldier waiting for orders, declaring that today's mission is to accompany the queen on her outing. So they head out to Dianshi Lake and tour around the city of Kunming. They grab some local snacks while Ning Ning literally clings to her mom the whole day. Like a victorious little general, she keeps turning around to make funny faces at him. And those smug little eyes are clearly telling him that he took a massive loss. He follows the mother and daughter, his mind completely tangled like a ball of yarn. Back at the guest house that night, little Ming Ming is already exhausted from all the playing. The moment her head hits the pillow, she is fast asleep, leaving only Qin Fan and Liu Ruyan in the room. The air immediately goes completely dead silent, and the vibe gets pretty awkward. Liu Ruyan sits on a chair right by the bed, completely dropping her tough daytime attitude. She sits there folding her arms, her eyes shining softly under the dim, warm light. Staring at him in silence, she makes his skin absolutely crawl with tension. Trying to break the ice, he finally mumbles out a thank you for the birthday party. She does not even acknowledge his words, suddenly dropping a heavy, cold question out of nowhere. Qin Fan, do you feel incredibly wronged? Hearing this, his heart instantly skips a beat. He stubbornly denies it, but she just scoffs in pure, biting mockery, asking if that is true, then why did you run? You are acting like a complete idiot, actually believing Lin Shuo's ridiculous lies about you getting replaced. Did you really believe you were just some cheap replacement and literally ran away with our kid? Qin Fan is left completely speechless under her intense questioning, his face turning red and white with embarrassment. Seeing his utterly miserable expression, her sharp gaze softens just a tiny bit. She keeps going, explaining that if her best friend Ning Junmeng had not called her up, saying some absolute idiot of a husband was asking weird questions about her and her deceased childhood friend, she would have never known that this big fool actually gets jealous. Qin Fan stubbornly protests, claiming that he was definitely not jealous at all. Anyone in his shoes would have lost their mind. She raises her eyebrow at him, finally finding her outlet as her voice gets louder and sharper. Liu Ruyan just stares at him. That look on her face? It is like she is looking at a completely delusional child. She lets out a heavy sigh. Qin Fan, she says with a tone of pure exhaustion. Did you seriously forget about last week? You had such a painful mouth ulcer that you could barely swallow any of your food, remember? He freezes in realization. Those fruits she bought are actually packed with vitamin C. They are literally meant to heal mouth sores, she explains slow and clear. Treating him like a little primary school kid, she says she only wanted him to eat it to heal faster. What kind of wild drama were you cooking up in that thick head of yours, she asks as things click. Talk about a massive plot twist. Qin Fan's brain completely short-circuits as the truth finally hits. But he can't squeeze out a single word, his cheeks burning red with shame. It feels like a massive slap to his face, but she is definitely not letting him off that easily yet. What else made you feel so terribly wronged? Was it that dead childhood friend of mine? Completely choked up and unable to speak, Qin Fan can only reply with stubborn, quiet silence. Seeing him fold, she decides to take the initiative and lay all her cards on the table. She admits she did confess to him during her senior year of college, making Qin Fan's heart sink again. He actually agreed to date her back then, she continues with a quiet voice. But her tone suddenly turns incredibly cold and disgusted. And guess what happened that very night? The guy immediately took some random girl he just met out for a wild joyride in his flashy sports car. They ended up getting into a massive, fatal car crash. Bro, that is actually insane. Both of them died right on the spot, shock written all over Qin Fan. He stares at her, unable to believe his ears, as she asks if he thought she lied about wishing him dead. Did you seriously think I was joking? Liu Ruyan's lip curls in anger. She smiles with absolute biting irony, telling him she is dead serious. That was the single most honest thing she has ever said, finding the whole memory deeply sickening. She literally just confessed, and the guy immediately went out and cheated on her right away. He literally ended up getting himself killed and made the local news. Talk about frustrating. Liu Ruyan gets visibly angrier just thinking about it. His chest is literally heaving as he explains he was just so furious and suffocated by the whole situation. That is the only reason he went to the bar to drink that night, which is when he met her. At this point, our main girl completely freezes. All her anger is just gone. Every single piece of resentment she held suddenly turns into absolute pure absurdity. Turns out she was never some tragic substitute for a dead first love. She was just the rebound after some toxic guy. Some guy who literally played himself to death, leaving her as the unlucky bystander. Talk about a crazy plot twist. The real truth about this childhood friend is mind-blowing. It hits her like a complete bomb, completely shattering all her built-up anger and resentment. Everything is blown to pieces, but she still can't just let it go. She has to ask, what about the media company? And what about Lin Shuo? And what about all those suspicious photos? Liu Ruyan just raises an eyebrow at her. Honestly, he looks at her like she is being the absolute biggest clown right now. He pauses for a second, trying to find the right words to explain. And then he drops an even bigger bombshell that changes the entire game. He tells her that the media company is actually hers. Her brain goes completely blank. She seriously wonders if she is hallucinating from absolute sleep deprivation. She asks what he means, and he casually replies it is her birthday gift. Liu Ruyan says it so casually, like he is literally just talking about the weather. He points out she is a massive influencer with over 10 million followers. He says she cannot just be a housewife forever, so he bought her a media agency. He wanted her to be her own boss and grow her channel. Honestly, husband goals. Her jaw is on the floor. Buying a whole company as a casual birthday gift? Just because she's an influencer? This reason is absurd and ridiculously luxurious. But honestly, it instantly melts all the cold insecurity she had been feeling. Liu Ruyan looks at her dumbfounded face and explains that as for Lin Shuo, the guy graduated from a top communication university, so his major actually fit the job. Since the new agency was just starting out and Liu Ruyan knew nothing about media, he hired Lin Shuo as a temporary consultant just to help set things up. That is the only reason they were working late at the office those nights. They were literally just grinding, but she still asks about those suspicious photos. Liu Ruyan literally scoffs at the mention of the photos, completely full of disdain. He explains those were all sneaky candid shots, intentionally angled to look intimate. He thought the guy was just a tryhard at first, but ignored him once things got weird. He had no idea the schemer would be bold enough to actually use those photos. To try and drive a wedge between them like some cheap drama villain? Liu Ruyan's eyes turn absolutely freezing as he continues. The guy somehow found out about the dead childhood friend and went to get plastic surgery, hoping to use that face to get close to him. Talk about being absolutely desperate for money. This man is built different, in the worst way. Now all the puzzle pieces finally click. Lin Shuo's sudden appearance, the green fruits, those suspicious photos, everything. And that elaborate substitute story he spun to make her doubt her husband? It was all just a pathetic, self-directed scam to climb the social ladder. What a clown. And she was the ultimate fool, completely played like a fiddle in his hands. At this point, her face is literally burning with embarrassment and shame. She wanted to crawl into a hole, but still managed to ask how he found her. Her voice was barely a whisper, but he just smirked and brought up her short video.
Calling her an idiot, Liu Ruyan rolled his eyes and asked if she thought he wasn't following her.
He watched every single post, and once he spotted that bamboo fence and solid wood furniture, in no time he searched it up and easily tracked down her cozy little inn. Turns out her grand, dramatic escape was nothing more than a joke to him. Just a childish little game that completely exposed her entire location from day one. All that agonizing betrayal and deceit she thought she went through from start to finish. But it was actually just his twisted way of showing his love, staring at him. She noticed his bloodshot eyes from driving through the entire night just to find her. Her emotions were a complete mess, realizing she was never some cheap substitute. Honestly, what a plot twist. She was the one he held closest to his heart all along. The only one he silently followed, and the one he would gladly throw millions at. He looked down at her, a sly, knowing smirk playing on his lips.
Yet a dangerous glint flashed in his eyes as he mused that Lin Shuo actually gave him a great idea. Reminded him of what? She instinctively asked, totally caught off guard. He calmly noted that a mental asylum is actually a wonderful place to utilize. Her head was absolutely spinning, completely dazed by the sudden mention of an asylum.
A cold shiver shot straight up her spine, and all that anger from being tricked? It was instantly replaced by pure, terrifying dread. She swallowed hard. Her throat felt completely dry as she worried if that psycho would eventually come back for revenge. After all, someone crazy enough to get full reconstructive surgery and spin an entire web of lies, the guy had to be completely unhinged. Liu Ruyan looked down at her terrified face. His lips curved into a cold, amused smirk. That look in his eyes? It was like he was looking at a clueless child before casually stating the guy was going to suffer.
He spoke in such a light, indifferent tone, as if it were the most trivial thing. He casually mentioned sending him to the mental asylum, leaving our girl completely speechless. Staring in absolute shock, she wondered if he could even pull that off. This man is built different.
Why wouldn't it work? Crossing his arms, he looked down at her with ultimate confidence.
He literally hand-delivered the evidence, so why wouldn't he use it? Seeing her still look completely dazed. So he patiently broke down the villain's insane logic. To get close to him, the guy actually got plastic surgery to look exactly like her annoying childhood friend.
If that isn't clinical obsession, what is? He actually fantasized about replacing her. He even convinced himself that his entire company was meant for him. Talk about pure delusion. The guy even had the nerve to use a few stalker photos to twist the truth right to her face. Trying to drive a wedge between them. If that's not paranoia, what is? With every single point he laid out, her heart sank just a little bit deeper. All that trashy behavior she thought was just a sign of bad character. It had somehow been perfectly classified as psychiatric symptoms. He explained that he simply consulted a professional. He laid out the entire situation exactly as it happened. Naturally, the doctors made the professional call. His tone remained perfectly calm. His presence carried an absolute chilling authority. On top of that, Lin Shuo is a complete loner. The guy has zero family or friends, meaning nobody is ever going to bail him out.
Qin Fan feels shivers down his spine because when this woman gets ruthless, she is terrifying.
Liu Ruyan stares at his dumbfounded face and suddenly lets out a soft laugh.
She leans in close and says, "Qin Fan, let me ask you something.
How do you actually prove you are not insane?" This question completely stumps him. Without thinking, he instinctively replies, "I would just go tell the doctor I am perfectly fine." Hearing this, Liu Ruyan bursts out laughing, her chuckle carrying a hint of pity.
"You fool," she says, "the more desperately you explain to the doctor that you are sane,
the more they will think you are severely unhinged before writing in your medical chart.
Patient is highly agitated and in absolute denial of their condition. She pauses, delivering the final blow word by word like a judge handing down a sentence.
And then they will just double your dosage.
Honestly, this lady is an absolute menace.
Talk about an unsolvable, mind-bending loop. Qin Fan stares at his wife, who is smiling right now like a devious little fox. For the first time, he realizes she is not just a wife who pouts and acts spoiled.
She is a literal queen with insane power, capable of fixing absolutely anything.
A wave of ultimate security suddenly washes over him, wrapping him tight.
He opens his mouth, but all he can muster is, "Wife, you are seriously amazing." Just then, the little girl, sleeping like a baby pig on the bed, suddenly rolls over, smacking her tiny lips.
She sleepily mumbles, "Mommy and Daddy, please stop talking."
You are waking me up. Qin Fan and Liu Ruyan exchange a quick look.
Both of them smiling as every bit of his stress and anxiety is completely wiped away by his little girl's adorable sleep talk. Liu Ruyan quickly shushes him with a warm smile. Silence returns. Only their daughter's breathing remains.
Soft moonlight coats her fluffy little hair, coating her in a warm, gentle glow as they slide back into bed. They sandwich little Ming Ming right in the middle, and he turns to watch his wife and daughter sleep.
His heart is completely full after clearing up all that toxic drama. Everything is sweeter. Then came the next morning. He gets woken up by Ming Ming's giggles as the chaotic little kid rides him like a horse. Liu Ruyan watches them with a gentleness he has never seen before. That escape plan of his now feels like a total joke. A complete farce. And their holiday turns into their first real family honeymoon in the freezing winds of Yulong Snow Mountain. He pulls Liu Ruyan and Ming Ming into a warm embrace, surprising his wife. She blushes and pinches him, complaining playfully. But she cannot hide her joy. Next stop, Lijiang Ancient Town. They dress up in beautiful local outfits while Ming Ming runs ahead of them like a little butterfly.
He and Liu Ruyan follow hand in hand, but she acts like a total foodie, stuffing her face with flour, pastries, and shoving the leftovers right into his mouth. He secretly loves it, happily eating every bite. His camera shutter does not stop for days, and the lens is no longer filled with just him.
No more lonely photos of just a single dad. This wholesome turnaround is honestly making me tear up. That night, back at the guest house, he starts looking through all his footage. So Qin Fan edits everything into a new video, specially choosing a very cheesy, sickeningly sweet love song. The video starts with him screaming "I love you" on a snowy mountain, ending with their gorgeous sunset silhouettes. Looking at the final cut, he can't even hide his smirk and slaps on a ridiculously smug title. Captured. Turns out my wife is low-key obsessed with me. The second he hits upload, he can already picture the absolute chaos in the comments, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. In under 30 minutes, his notifications completely explode, and the comments are wild. One fan says, "I am literally on my knees for this plot twist. Weren't you just running away with the kid?" Now he is coming back to beg for mercy. Who actually saw this coming?
Another goes, "I thought Brother Fan was finally having his glow up, but he is just flexing his marriage in a different place."
I'll happily take this relationship bait, but is anyone else seeing how President Liu looks at him? It is pure adoration. Case closed. This isn't some cheap substitute lover trope. This is undefeated true love. Meanwhile, his follower count gains over 1 million new followers overnight. Seeing the screen covered in
Fans screaming about how sweet this is, all that lingering resentment of being lied to. Completely vanishes. He finally feels vindicated. Once their vacation wraps up, the family of 3 boards a flight back to Jiang province. When he first arrived here, he was totally hopeless. Now he's holding his kid Ming with one hand and his wife Liu Ruyan with the other. Talk about a wholesome turnaround. But as soon as the plane lands, Liu Ruyan doesn't take them home. Instead, she has the driver pull up right in front of a massive, brand new office building. She just nods her chin at him. With a smug little look, he follows her straight into the lobby and spots the company name in bold gold lettering right on the reception wall. This is the exact media company from that old photo that completely broke his heart. From now on, she tells him, this entire place is yours. She slides an access card right into his hand, keeping her voice completely casual, even though she just dropped an absolute bombshell on his world. Then she pulls him straight to the door of the largest office, where a sleek nameplate hangs. Reading President Qin? Honestly, he feels like he is straight up dreaming. Going from a dependent house husband to a CEO running his own company? Talk about a legendary glow-up. He pushes the door open, revealing a massive, sunlit office with floor-to-ceiling windows. Overlooking the most expensive view in Yang province, Liu Ruyan hugs him from behind, resting her chin gently on his shoulder and softly whispering, "President Qin." She has that familiar, incredibly playful smirk in her voice. "Under your command," she says, "you'll have all these beautiful female influencers." Try to control yourself, okay? Qin Fan just stares at his office door. With his name in gold, literally feeling like he's walking on air. This birthday gift from Liu Ruyan is seriously on another level. But as he steps out into the main area, things get even crazier. The entire workplace is packed with gorgeous young creators walking around. We are talking long legs, slim waists, and total baddie energy. Truly, every single style you could think of is right here. Tons of beautiful female influencers are busy working in their studios. Some are smiling sweetly at the cameras, while others gossip about the latest viral trends. A former house husband who got his start thanks to his wife is suddenly their boss. Good thing our boy Qin Fan might not have crazy skills, but his charisma is top tier. Plus, with his 10 million follower account backing him up, it only takes a few days. For him to completely bond with all the influencers who start calling him Sanj. Sanj, can you check this script? I feel like it is missing a little spark. President Qin, my views are low today. What do you think about me changing my style? He never turns them down, happily giving them solid content advice. Cracking jokes and sharing his top influencer secrets. Pretty soon, his formal title of President Qin is quickly replaced by the friendlier name, Sange. But just as he is enjoying being the center of attention, a familiar figure appears right at his office door like a literal ghost. Quite the big shot, aren't we, President Qin? Ming Junmeng teases, leaning against the door. She has a smirk on her face. Our boy's heart instantly drops. Why is she here? She struts inside in high heels, making herself right at home on his office sofa. President Liu sent me here. She was worried you couldn't handle this place alone. So she made me your new assistant and secretary. She pauses for a second, winks, and whispers that basically she is here to spy on him. Oh, he gets it. He gets it all too well. His good days are officially over with this new spy. She is literally a 24-hour security camera. The moment he talks to a female influencer, within 5 minutes, a text from his wife, Liu Ruyan, drops. How are the new staff doing? Do they really need the big boss to guide them personally for this long? If his eyes linger on a host's legs in a short skirt for even half a second? By the time he gets home, a keyboard is already waiting in the middle of the room. Honey, I was wrong. I just spaced out for a second. He kneels down with absolute precision. Bro is a certified pro at this. Liu Ruyan holds their daughter, Ning, looking down on him like an absolute queen. Spaced out? All right, then tell me, what color was her skirt? Our boy cannot say a single word. He just hangs his head in defeat. Even Ning claps happily, laughing that Daddy is kneeling on the keyboard again. Mom is awesome. Honestly, Qin Fan can only cry inside. One evening, right as he finishes up his work for the day, his office door flies open and Ning charges in like a little cannonball.
She grabs his leg, yelling, "Daddy!" He smiles warmly and picks her up.
Liu Ruyan walks in right behind her, holding something. It is a cake from his favorite shop. She is wearing a gorgeous, form-fitting dress.
With her long hair flowing, the second she steps inside, the entire office seems to instantly brighten up. But just as he is about to speak, Meng Zhengmeng walks in behind them with a face that absolutely screams trouble.
Ruyan, you are finally here. You really need to control your husband Qin-san. She walks right up to Liu Ruyan, deliberately speaking in a loud voice.
Qin Fan's chest instantly tightens. He has a very bad feeling about this, and listens as she eagerly reports that he was staring at other girls all day. Specifically at the legs of their new dancing influencer wearing black stockings. Oh, this is wild. Our boy instantly panics, loudly denying everything to save his own skin. He insists he did nothing, but Liu Ruyan's eyes are already narrowing dangerously.
She sets down the cake and slowly steps closer, asking if that is really true.
And right away, his ear is caught by a soft, yet totally unyielding hand, making him yell that his wife is being lied to.
He begs that he is innocent, clutching Ning Ning while trying to dodge her.
Liu Ruyan squeezes a bit harder. Honestly, this wholesome dynamic is top tier, and she cannot hide her smile. It better be, she warns, letting go while giving him a playful, annoyed look. She tells him it is time to go home, and he feels completely relieved.
He carries Ning Ning and follows behind Liu Ruyan like a loyal little sidekick.
Behind them, Ning Zhenmeng is holding back her laughter and making a silly face.
And just like that, this adorable family walks out of the office building together.